Welcome to my channel. I am starting by the grace of my creator. How are you all? Using direct distance entry. Direct distance entry is by far the easiest and quickest way to enter data while using the draw and modify commands. You can enter a distance value whenever the software prompts you to select a point. The point coordinates are calculated based on the angle of the cursor from the previous point selected and the distance you enter. It is a good idea to have polar tracking on when using this method. You may use this method of data entry whether the dynamic input mode is on or off. Guidelines for using direct distance entry. Turn polar tracking on to display the cursor's angle. Set the desired incremental polar angles in polar tracking settings. Enter the desired distance and press enter. Be sure that the accurate polar angle is displayed. AutoCAD is accurate 14 places to the right of the decimal point, 1.00000000000000. Therefore, it is important to enter the distance and use polar snap for absolute precision. Although turning dynamic input off limits the data fields displayed by your pointer, you may use direct distance entry with this feature on or off. Procedure. Using direct distance entry. The following steps give an overview for using the direct distance entry method. 1. Start a command such as line and click a point to begin. Tip: toggle off dynamic input on the status bar for clearer results. When you are prompted to specify the next point, drag your cursor in the direction you want the line to travel, enter a distance on the command line, then press enter. Tip: turn polar tracking on to display the current angle of your cursor. 3. Drag the cursor in the direction of the next line segment, enter a distance value, and press enter. 4. Repeat step 2 until the geometry is completed. Press enter to exit the command. Your object is completed. Exercise. Input data. In this exercise, you gain familiarity with the various input methods including the command line, the keyboard, and the dynamic interface. The completed exercise. Completing the exercise. To complete the exercise, follow the steps in this book or in the on-screen exercise. In the on-screen list of chapters and exercises, click Chapter 2, Creating Basic Drawings. Click Exercise, Input Data. 1. On the Quick Access toolbar, click New. 2. In the Select Template dialog box, click the arrow next to Open and select Open with No Template, Imperial. Note: for AutoCAD LT users, select AutoCAD.dwt. 3. On the status bar, make sure dynamic input is off. Use the command line to create a circle, enter circle. Press enter. Observe the options listed in the brackets. Click near the center of the graphics window for the center point. Enter 1. Press enter. Zoom to view your drawing, if necessary. 5. To draw a second circle the same size as the first, press enter. This repeats the previous command. Click to select a point to the left of the first circle. Press enter to accept the default value for the circle radius. 6. Use the line command with relative polar coordinates to draw a triangle near the circles. To begin the line command, enter L for line. Press enter. Specify a point in the drawing window for the first point, 1. Enter the polar coordinate at 245, 2. Press enter. Enter the polar coordinate at 135, 3. Press enter. Enter C for the close option. Press enter. 7. Display the command history, press F2. Review the command history shown. Use the scroll function on the right side of the window or the mouse wheel to display additional history. Press F2 again to turn off the command window. 8. Turn on dynamic input. On the status bar, click Dynamic Input. Reveal geometric data using the dynamic interface. Click to select the first circle that you created. Place your crosshairs over, but do not click the square grip box on the right edge of the circle. Verify that the circle radius is 1. Press ESC to remove the circle selection. 10. Reveal additional geometric data using the dynamic input interface. Click the 2 angular lines that you created. Place your crosshairs over, but do not click the square grip box at the intersection of the 2 lines. Observe that both the length and angle data are displayed for the selected lines. Press ESC to remove the line selection. 11. Close all files. Do not save. Creating basic objects. All drawings consist of basic objects that you create using basic commands. In this lesson, you learn how to create objects such as lines, circles, arcs, rectangles, and polygons. You also learn how to use the erase command to erase objects. Learning to create basic geometry is critical to success in the software. As you become proficient with basic geometry creation, you can move on to creating more advanced object types. Objectives. After completing this lesson, you will be able to use the line command to create lines in the drawing. Use the circle command to create circles in the drawing. Use the arc command to create arcs in the drawing. Use the erase command to erase objects in the drawing. Use the undo and redo commands to return to previous drawing states. Use the rectangle command to create rectangles in the drawing. Use the polygon command to create equal-sided polygons in the drawing. Line command. Use the line command to create a single line or multiple line segments from a start point to an end point. The following illustration shows a line segment being drawn using the dynamic input interface to specify the length, 1, and angle, 2, of the segment. Command access line command line, L ribbon, home tab draw panel line menu bar, draw line. Command options. The following line command options are available from the shortcut menu, right click, or the command line option. Description. First point, default, specifies the start point of the line segment. Next point, default, specifies the end point of the line segment. Continue to specify next points for additional line segments. Undo removes the previous line segment without exiting the line command. Select or enter the capitalized letter only. Close appears only after you have drawn two line segments. Uses the first point of the line segments as the next point for the current segment to create a closed boundary of line segments. Select or enter the capitalized letter only. Line command guidelines used to create a single line or multiple line segments. Use the close option to connect the last segment to the beginning of the first segment. Line segments, even though connected, are separate, independent objects. If you begin the line command and press enter instead of selecting a start point, the line will resume at the last point selected, such as the end of the previous line. You can undo a line segment without completely exiting the line command by typing U and then pressing enter, or selecting undo. Practice exercise, line command. In this practice exercise you will practice using the line command to draw the object below. 1. Begin a new drawing. 2. In the Select Template dialog box, select the academic template file, DWT, and click Open. 3. Be sure the following status bar settings are on: Polar Tracking Object Snap Tracking. 4. To draw the horizontal line, on the ribbon, click Home tab Draw Panel Line. For the start point, 1. Select a point on the screen. Drag the line to the right until you see that the tooltip indicates the polar angle is 0. Enter 4 and press enter. 5. Continue with the line command to draw the remaining line segments from points 2, 2, 3. Drag your mouse up until you see that the tooltip indicates that the polar angle is 90. Enter 1 and press enter. Drag to 0, and enter 1 and press enter. Drag to 90, and enter 1.5 and press enter. Drag to 180, and enter 1 and press enter. Drag to 90, and enter 1 and press enter. Drag to 180, and enter 4 and press enter. 6. Drag the mouse down to polar 270 until you see that the object snap indicates you have reached the original endpoint, 1, and click the endpoint. Be sure to click inside the endpoint object snap box. Press enter to end the line command. Circle command. Use the circle command to create circles in the drawing. When you start the circle command, you are prompted to select a center point, then specify the radius. Use the data input methods discussed earlier to input these values. In the following image, the circle center point is selected and you are prompted to specify a radius. Command access circle command line, circle, see menu bar, draw circle. Choose option ribbon, home tab draw panel circle. Circle command options. Circle options can be accessed from the drop-down menu next to the circle button. Circle options can be selected from the shortcut menu, right-click, or typed at the command line. Type the capitalized letter, S, only. Option description specify center point, default, click a point or enter a coordinate for the center of the circle. D. After you specify a center point, you have the option to specify a diameter instead of the radius. 3P. Create the circle based on 3 points you specify to define the circle's diameter. 2P. Create the circle based on 2 points you specify to define the circle's diameter. TTR, tan radius, create a circle tangent to other objects at a radius you specify. The circle command remembers the radius or diameter of the last circle drawn. If the prompt for the radius or diameter contains a value in brackets, press enter to reuse the value for the radius or diameter of the new circle. Specify radius of circle or diameter 25.000, press enter to create a new circle with a 25 unit radius. Circle command guidelines. The circle default when executed from the command line is center, radius. Specify a center point and a radius to define the circle. When you specify a circle option from the drop-down menu, that button remains visible in the toolbar panel. After specifying a center point for the circle, simply press enter, if you want the circle to be the same size as the last circle made. After specifying a center point, type D and press enter if you prefer to type a diameter for the circle. Practice exercise, circle command. In this practice exercise, you use the tan radius circle command and the 2-point circle. First, you draw 2 adjacent lines that are 5.25 units each. 1. Begin a new drawing. 2. In the Select Template dialog box, select the academic template file, DWT, and click Open. 3. Be sure the following status bar settings are on: Polar Tracking Object Snap Tracking. 4. To draw the lines, start the line command. For the start point, select the end point of the line. 1. Drag the mouse down until the polar angle indicates that it is 270. Enter 5.25 and press enter. Drag the mouse to the right until the polar angle indicates 0. Enter 5.25 and press enter. Press enter to end the line command. 5. Adjust the display of your drawing using zoom or pan real time, if necessary. 6. To draw the smaller circle, 3. On the ribbon, click Home tab, Draw Panel, Circle drop down, tan radius. Move the cursor to the vertical line until you see the deferred tangent object snap and then click. Now move the cursor to the horizontal line until you see deferred tangent again and click. Specify the radius of the circle. Enter 2 and press enter. 7. To draw the larger circle, 4. On the Home tab, click Draw Panel, Circle drop down, 2 point. Move the cursor to the end of the vertical line, 1, until you see the endpoint object snap and click. Now move the cursor to the end of the horizontal line, 2, until you see the endpoint object snap and click. If any need, contact me by Gmail md.assad7157@gmail.com.